hope you all are having a wonderful weekend. We are only 10 days away from the set hitting live servers. And as such, for our today's VOD review, we are going to be jumping with one of the hardest workers on the PB throughout. So thus far, Deisik right here, currently comfortably sitting around top 10 in the Project PB ladder throughout this course. And we are going to be playing in a component, and we'll start therefore definitely can expect a little bit of the higher stage 2 tempo than usual throughout these all item slams. We are holding on to the Blackthorn pairs, but I mean, he's immediately sees the Camille and sells the 10. Didn't have that much direction, had the brawler pairs with the Rek'Sai, but he sees the Camille, says, alright, I'm just going to be practicing maybe some Coven. Just immediately, this is signaling to me that we're going to be playing from a lost streak, and a nice thing to note that this Camille can easily solo 1-4. Nice thing to keep back of your mind is knowing these units. Our items currently, we have a Rod, so could possibly consider some kind of an AP flex, particularly also with the chain, making half of the stone plate for that Malphite. Earth is an augment that I personally do not like taking onto 1. If there is a busted emblem, something like the Space Groove last set in certain patches, then it can be justified. This set, it would be the Blackthorn emblem, which we can make, but I am not sure if you're wanting to opt into this line. He's probably looking to practice something else. Hustler, if you wanted to be pushing the tempo, it's a possibility to take, but your cap is going to be reduced. I see this is a generally decent top 4 augment if you have a strong opener, but no particularly strong direction, and then you can look to pivot into some kind of a board because you're not going to be able to reroll as much. Salvage bin. Item augments, generally component starts are going to be a little bit weaker because they simply comparing 3 components to 5 versus 5 versus 7 there's a difference, right? But if you are playing for the tempo slams, this can help generally to fix your items. One of the highest skill cap augments right there, and probably something we want to be defaulting in this spot. Immediately see the Coven Acolyte. This gives us a direction, gives us a possibility to play around this lost streak that we are actually aiming for rather than taking salvage but then trying to salvage our spot right here. Frontline Foundation could also provide us with some direction. I probably clicked this a little bit too much by myself, but sometimes it works out. Booster pack, we had made that Econ 10, so it's going to lose a little bit of value, but could have given us some units that we could be considering playing around. Going to immediately lead off for the 2-cost shop. I am not sure what we were fishing for because we have these Coven units right away, but he's going to be immediately going for the item slams. So this is not signaling he's going to be playing this the classic way of simply lost streaking in, and he seems to be mapping okay, I see he seems to be mapping out some sort of a Caitlyn reroll. So perhaps he had a game just before where he was looking for a possibility of playing around some kind of a Caitlyn reroll. So, and using this Coven just to boost that up, and that's probably why he wanted to rip this 2-cost shop and is slamming the items aggressively. Generally with Coven, you want to be tracking up these losses already in stage 2 and then just going for a bigger cash out, but perhaps he's seeing, alright, these bigger cash outs are not as worth for me, particularly with these items, and now that we have committed the Rage Blade as well. He's simply wondering that, yeah, this is not going to be exactly how I want this to pan out. But the reason, obviously, is that on stage 2, the losses are less punishing. Okay, we have a little bit of less scaling because we have less Coven in, and you are fine to be win streaking because the Coven trade does not punish you, something like the Animan last set for breaking that loss streak, but they're going to be less punishing, right? The losses, compare a loss to stage 2 into stage 4. There is no stage scaling for these losses, and for takedowns the same goes, right? Okay, you have more units to be killing, but there is no stage scaling on the unit takedown, so you're just going to be racking this up later, and it's fine to be tacking in for some extra resources if you're sacking nonetheless, but maybe if you didn't sack you would win a round and an extra life, and these later stages can definitely go a long way and often dictate a placement swing. But the lobby seems a little bit on the weaker side, so we're just simply pushing the tempo and maybe trying to establish our spot that we are committed to this reroll, signaling to this lobby. This is another upside. This is why TFT can be so tricky. So many things to be considering, particularly when it comes to lobby dynamics as well. So let's see how he manages to navigate this spot. This does not seem to be the regular, I'm going to open and cash out whatever I have. Maybe he's ingling this Caitlyn reroll, which also would be exciting to see how he manages to cook it up, because I am, well, apart from the game that I quickly noticed that he had played one, I have not seen this being executed yet, and maybe she has a potential to be a decent carry. So we're just going to be looking to play around this Elise frontline for now. There is still the infinite Elise build that you can be going for with the Rage Blade as well, and then you could just be tossing this stone plate onto something like the Hecarim, but We opted to go for another 3-cost plus a bow onto the carousel. So maybe I think this Caitlyn does want something like the some form of a crit die. Probably a DB, this is what he's looking for. And then this bow, I mean GS in the worst case, maybe Kraken could be also nice since we have that Rage Blade slammed. We'll have to see, but we are going to be probably finishing here off on a 2 losses. We queue into 3 item Rengar with that Rivals augment right there. Still a decent play to be playing around, but you do need that early game tempo to be executing it, and this player seems to have lost it a little bit, seems to have lost a couple of fights. We're just going to be continuing our cash out right here. I'm interested to also see what breakpoint we might be chasing for. Would have to study the tables a little bit more. Generally, for these cash outs, there have been the breakpoints where you are offered duplicators in a decent amount of capacity, and then you just take these duplicators, you just spam these cash outs if you can to get these extra duplicators. But there also are some unit cash outs right there. So we're going to be committing the GS and probably angling here. This is a signal for another stone plate and leave this open road. But it seems that, okay, he's seeing, alright, I don't have the units, I don't have the exact items they're looking for Caitlyn, so we're just going to be switching up our game plan and going for the bigger, possibly cash out, playing around here around the Morgana. And Nidalee, which is an interesting take as well. There has been the Vanguard Nidalee floating around, but from a Coven cash out, maybe she does truly have a potential as a backline carry as well. For our next augment selection, Residual Magic is generally very strong compared to something like the Boxing Lessons, which is already considered to be one of the strongest silver augments in this tier. You can be buying a lot of Wisps, particularly if you are rerolling. You are going to be buying a lot of Wisps, and this is going to be stacking up greatly. Branching out, we have some direction, and I am not sure of the comps that utilize a lot of emblems effectively. Something, for example, like the Quirky Riven line from the last set where you have so many hits. I do not think this one to be the line such, so probably going to be passing that Electro Charge. We are playing probably angling for a strong solo frontline. Something like the Malphite could synergize with this quite well. But just simply Residual Magic is going to be overvaluing this. Recon Bob, no, that would be interesting, but we do not have the board value for it really. And Healing Orbs, not bad in the solo frontliner comps, not bad in your melee carry drain tanks, but again, Residual Magic is just strong. We immediately pick up a Wisp, rolled once, found a Nidalee, can be slotting that in. That's going to hold our items just a little bit better. Also a nice spot here that we can just be rolling on. Let's see if he's going to be fishing for these charms every round. I mean, obviously, that's a lot of gold investment if you're going to be doing so. I do not think that would be the optimal play, particularly if you do not have an econ augment already, because you probably, if you've played, you've noticed yourself, you sometimes just tend to feel broke, and that's what Wisps do. They are taking back the econ influx, let's say. Now we hit Caitlyn too immediately. He's going to be rolling again, so he is fishing for these charms, maybe angling for the possibility of being quite strong this stage, as their lobby seems to be, well, there are some, those boards are, I would say, mid, not particularly strong, but we do not have a strong frontline either, so we might have a little bit of an issue in that department. But let's see how this Elise holds up here against the Master Yi with 3 items. Not exactly the items you would be looking for maybe Master Yi, and yeah, he doesn't have that much survivability. Maybe though he has that BT, we're going to be cleaning that up. That's nice for us if you're able to establish some stage 3 tempo right here. Maybe go slow 8 because we have invested so much into these Wisps, and then rebound our recon with the cash out. Well, but if you're winning, that's not going to be a big cash out, so we have to watch out. If we are playing around the Morgana, would probably looking to be aiming to find some utility items. I picked up a tier, which generally can be decent. Adaptive Helm, not the worst item. Immediately rerolling again here, just rolling once every turn it seems for the Wisp. Picked up the Mumu, going to make that Adaptive Helm, going to be wanting to be strong, committing our item slams, making the Archangels as well, and Mumu should be able to be quite decent here now that we have a 4-cost backliner, 4-cost frontliner. If we have the items for him, we are expected to be quite strong into the stage 3, unless we with a very strong reroller. But this player with Pandora's Bench still sitting onto Tristana 1, she's going to have quite a bit of a tough time getting through ourselves, but they have the frontline presence, and we're going to be taking a narrow round right here, quite big for ourselves. Aggressive to level 7, even roll here, and we have the possibility to buy a Wisp, and I would assume we're going to be picking up this one up. Maybe, but maybe not. We found an early Maokai dome. Stage 3-6 Maokai. One place to be playing that Maokai is going to be if you're able to get him stacking early. We're not going to be buying the Wisp, seeing that that could break even our econ even further. The 3 extra gold we gain from there would probably not be worth because we are missing on the... Well, we're delaying our econ thresholds for quite a while, so quick maths probably says that yes, we would be actually losing gold on this, so that's a great spot to be recognizing that. And we're going to be going with the the Phoenix Primal. Whenever you're able to pick this one up, it's incredible value, especially if you're able to pick it up early on, because it simply gives you that. It's just so many components, right? And that's going to be very strong. Pick up a temporarily Bramble Vest. I suppose just slam it on Y, yeah. And committing that, I guess, Declaw right there, right? Yeah, and just leave this Adaptive Helm open. That can be transitioned to our Mogorana or a Kog'Maw for now. And yeah, see, here is another player that is angling something like it seems the Mama Bee Caitlyn. They are going for the Coven cash out, so it's kind of tough, and they're level 7, so I don't think they're going for the Caitlyn just yet. Nonetheless, we have our next augment selection. Gilded Steel probably is going to strong. We have the immediate value from the Maokai. Heroic Grab Bag, I don't think we're rerolling. Cybernetic Implants, we're not playing in an AD line where we could be utilizing the sword. We have our sword already floating, that we probably have to transition into something. We have a lot of swords. Do not want that. Pandora's is just going to be too slow onto the stage 4. Our items are fine. We are not in a completely cooked situation where we need to be taking this. Staffsmith, though, generally very strong when you're looking for the item augments. If you can utilize any kind of API items, this is pretty much almost immediate take. If you are in a spot to be taking items, of course, because the overall value is so good. But we can take this, get some durability for our team, which is going to synergize nicely around playing around that Morgana, which wants some time to scale. And yeah, we're just going to be potentially fishing for a first Wisp we have, and then just going slow 8 from this. Still have our Coven cash out to be going for if we lose. Can we reach this 250 convincingly? Not that particularly sure, because I think it's 18 that we only gained from with having 3 Covenant, right? So if you're able to get some takedowns, but this is still again, there's no stage scaling, right? And we are at 224. If you're able to cash this out onto the 4-5 and then do a roll down, that would be an amazing lineup for ourselves. We also have picked up an Ivern, another scaling champion, and natural that Sentinel, which is going to be quite massive. We're looking for still, again, going for the Wisp. This Wisp seems to incentivize us to be rerolling, so we're going to be picking that up. It's holding also onto that a Loon right there, so playing around some kind of a Vanguard core, it seems, maybe. But not sure. I mean, you want a Sentinel in, obviously, for the Invoker, I would assume. But 2 Invokers should be fine. This is going to be interesting. He had the board planned, but, you know, have to be very flexible, especially on these 4 roll downs. If you are rolling that or you're just increasing your chances of sometimes missing. And, you know, if you roll for, let's say, 2 backline carries and 1 specific tank, and you just missed, like you say, GG, thank you, Mordog. But what can you do? You have to be flexible. You're going to be gaining a lot of placements by picking up another tank that can suitably fit your board, and then maybe pivoting into the strongest version of your board later on when you have extra gold and you have stabilized. Find a Morgana right there, going to be reforging. We have the Void Staff that we definitely probably were we're not going for it because we were playing around the Kog'Maw, so I would assume that this slam implies to me that we are not going to be keeping this Kog'Maw around anymore. Going to be taking our loss, going to be getting our 260 cash though, so it's still thought it was 18. Nonetheless, 40 gold of value is going to be coming in. I still have a lot of studying to do for this set myself, as I haven't been playing as much, but this is why we are here. This is one of the main resources how to study, and we see a Blighting Jewel that's going to be immediate value. Something like the Silvermare's Dawn got nerfed as a pure tank item. We have a tank item. We were looking for a 3rd damage item, and Blighting Jewel onto this Morgana, as she's doing so much stick damage, spreading the dots, is generally going to be amazing. that was about set 14 Morgana also that was absolutely busted with this blighting jewel she was spreading, but this one also should be, anytime we have a champion that's doing these little ticks of damage, it's going to be amazing on them. And with an adaptive helm, she's just going to be spam casting as well. And we have a Maokai pair to be holding on to. Nicely have managed our life total as well, but probably going to be going for our roll down right here as well, we are still on the 1-star carry, so getting this far this healthy has been truly enabled through that a little bit more of a tempo play around in stage 3. Hoping to, well, we have a Taric as well, so generally you do not want to be gunning for a double itemized tank before you have itemized a third carry at least. But even then, probably itemizing a fourth carry oftentimes is going to be better because the TFT has funneled down to getting these super tanks. But our items just worked out that way, and they have, and we're still having this Tiger Primal Blessing to maybe print us a little bit of an extra items. Probably, I think we should have at least one more component coming in. This player here playing around that Vanguard Nidalee that I mentioned, kind of like an Aphelios build right there, also with the Brambleback, but just utilizing Nidalee right there. Nidalee seems to be liking that Rageblade, seeming a lot of Rageblade Nidalee builds, and the stats seem to imply so as well, but I don't know, I'm still skeptical. Whenever I see this Rageblade item, I am skeptical. This is the curse of dish soap, just absolutely hating the item and me picking it up. Just going to be again picking up our Wisp, and we seem to be sacking our way to level 8 as we have managed to pick up a couple of crucial rounds right there, which truly enable it for ourselves to just be going here only 1-star carries. We have most of the board is 1-star. That is incredible to see, but I would assume that we are at least going to be losing to Gobo right here with that Tristana reroll, and yeah, not going to be killing anything really. Do not have enough concentrated damage to be dealing with his super tanks, and we're maybe also waiting for this player to die because they are holding on to our units, right? When we have some extra lives, and sometimes when we are in a spot that we can just wait around, you can't take the gamble of hoping that player will die if there's someone in the lobby you can recognize that could be taking them out. But obviously if you do not roll and then just sack placements because of it, you are in a bad spot. But yeah, you have to be able to recognize it. And now we're going to be lowering a little bit more, not going to be pushing that level, not recognizing that this player didn't die. And we do need to be stabilizing ourselves. Our matchup pool is looking to be stronger by every turn. So we're going to be moving even the blue buff onto this Morgana, and the double, so many frontline items. Just hoping this Morgana is going to be able to stall, also have the scaling of a Rageblade, but she does get immediately ganged up on Diana and the Vi, but thankfully manages to survive, and now she's going to have scaled up, and we are going to be just eliminating him ourselves. Alright, you couldn't do the job, we're going to be doing it. Make a TG, can just slap it on the, no, it could have been Zyro, could have been frontline, it's whatever. Oh, this is where this clip is coming from. Alright, yeah, that's the bye bye buddy clip, if you've seen it around. Yeah, he, I suppose, just didn't like that someone was contesting him. Alright, we're going to be queuing into, that's a Spriken Ash, I think. That's an interesting cook right there, playing around those Hunters and Sprikens. Seems to have been able to be decent tempo, but didn't do that well. Well, in the later stages of the game, just seemed to have done well around the tempo, but did not manage to scale up into so much. And we have had this Maokai for so long, so if we're able to make it to a Maokai too, we're going to be extremely strong, in my opinion. Going to be having so much scaling value there. Morgana eaten up by a dragon. Right, something you have to watch out for. Immediately picking up another Wisp, and this Wisp scaling also with this all extra HP should be very strong. I would assume we're looking for some kind of a backline item, but our offense are Archangel, Spark, Morello. Yeah, alright, just toss something onto the Taric. Truly investing into this Morgana to be our main carry. I'm just worried that once we face a cap like this, so many AP units right there from the Skipeus, if he's able to truly cap out, maybe he's going to be able to put up an extreme fight, has that alone on the bench, but for now we're going to be able to pick up a win against him and a cash out another primal component. Find that finally, that Nidalee 2 that we were looking for by that player holding onto our, and we are going to be playing around this 4 Juggernaut core now that we have also found in a Mumu. Could just get rid of this Kog'Maw if he did not value the that is Invoker as much, could just toss in like a cannon maybe, or a Zyra for extra durability against the Go Buster. Now that we have this Nidalee too, we seem to have enough frontline support damage for this to also to deal with his tanks. And we have enough time for this Maokai to be for this Morgana to be scaling through this extra Maokai stack that we have gained, and all the extra frontline itemization we have. Still not able to chase the Maokai too. Now we are going to be in a top 3 fight here against. This is the Sprite and Ash player has a good angle on ourselves, but they are clumped, so this Morgana's Puddle is going to be gaining a lot of value right there. Just quickly draining their magic resist, and but they have the front line, they have this damage. This Ash has been doing a lot. She had that great angle, so I was able to take out our backline Nidalee, and that is going to pretty much swing the fight for ourselves. Now in the top 2 against Skipeus, are we able to maybe possibly do some positioning, going for that third frontline item again, a triple itemized frontline, and an extra TG as well. Pick up some form of amp into this Morgana. She has been doing so much work, but we do not find that Maokai too, and we only have 2 carries, so this is going to be tough as he has such a backloaded damage. Has that even Ivern there scaling. The Alun's Moon is going to be going down nicely. Also noted that he's just positioned his Ahri in the middle to hit the largest clump. The fight just went over because they just have so much value onto their board. Also have these extra combat augments to bridge the gap, and we are unable to sustain their burst. But the nice thing to note here about the Ahri is, for example, if you position her particularly in the D1 corner, she's just not going to be hitting a lot of units. Here, positioned in the middle, yes, she's wall vulnerable, but let's just see when her ult does come out, she's tossed it there, but she hit pretty much everything. This and Skipeus has that backline access to be dealing with our Morgana and Nidalee, and that's going to be closing off the fight. A well-executed game by Deisik right here, trying to play around that Coven, not exactly being able to play for that loss streak, also therefore slammed the items, and opted to roll every single turn for that charm to truly stack up his residual magic. Found that early 5 cost and was able to pick up the Gilded Steel, which gave this Morgana all the extra, and the Nidalee all the extra time to be scaling up, and just the synergy with the Morgana and the Blighting Jewel seems to be one of the top tier synergies with artifacts this set. Seems that we are leaning more in that direction. Otherwise, fundamentally sound play, did not level over aggressively, did not overroll over aggressively, and this recognized that he was contested, tried to play maybe if this player is going to be eliminated, and surprisingly performed very well. This duo of Morgana and Nidalee, with all this extra frontline support, seem to be still able to compete against some of the higher cap boards we've seen. Overall, very fundamentally sound play game. I would like to thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something new, and I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.